So you're thinking about picking Bryson, DJ, maybe even Rory for the 2021 Masters, and you want to know how much of an advantage do the longest drivers have at Augusta National? Well, we're going to try to answer that question for you today. Welcome to Grandstand Golf. I'm Craig. This is Adam.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? If you do like our videos, make sure to hit that thumbs up, subscribe to our channel. We have a lot more Masters content coming, but we're counting down the top 6 holes where distance does have an advantage at Augusta National. Craig, let's kick it off. We're already at 18 here. It is named Holly. It's a par 4, 465-yard hole. We know it as the closing hole. You have that bunker on the left. Tell me a little bit about number 18, Holly.
Yeah, so 18, like you said, it's par 4. It's a closing hole. Just real quick with this, layout here. What I've done is I've got sort of a dispersion pattern type thing. At 300 yards, we're 60 yards wide here. At 350, we're 70 yards wide, and at 400, we're 80 yards wide. So those are very, very tight dispersion patterns. So it gives you an idea of how narrow this course can play. But 18 here, really, you can see it is narrow. It does force you to move the ball left to right if you do want to get it further and further up there. But really, it's a narrow part of that fairway. People hit it into those bunkers. But then you also have seen, we saw this from Tiger back in 97, and we've seen it occasionally since then. You can carry those bunkers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and of course, with the renewal in 2021, we will have patrons again, so that will change things a little bit. How people can really attack the course differently.
Yeah, now I do think it's a big ask to go over these bunkers, but you can you go from a potential narrow situation to it just opens things up so much. And you really get to see that, I think, from that point of view, just how much all of a sudden you're left with 100 to 125 yard wedge shot, and it just simplifies everything.
Yeah, it's much easier to get it on the right tier of that green.
Yeah.
Okay, Craig, counting down. Number 5, the 5th most advantageous hole for distance is hole number 8, Yellow Jasmine, par 5, 570 yards. You might know number 8 as it has those mounds around the green. You want to be on the right side of the mounds to kind of funnel to the green here. But tell me about number 8.
Yeah, so number 8, it has this bunker that I think is really one of the things that makes it. I mean, obviously all par 5s are advantageous to long hitters. But the bunker really, it can punish the shorter hitters more than the guys who can easily carry it. So, it sits out there depending on where the tees are on the tee box. It can be anywhere from kind of 300 to maybe 325-ish. But we're hitting an uphill. I'll get you this other angle here, but you get an idea that we're hitting into, an upslope on that on that fairway. So say you hit it 325 versus 350, it's really not as much of a difference. So I think that's why of the par 5s, this is the one that distance is the least advantageous.
Sure.
But I mean, obviously par 5s are always super advantageous. But it gives you an idea here. We're looking, someone puts it out there about 325 to 350. They're looking at just over 200 yards. And then really the thing about all the par 5s at Augusta, but really here it's that second shot. You need to go right to left. Those mounds around the green kick off anything that is not sort of on the perfect line.
Yeah, I think you kind of said it really well, though. Even if you bomb it, it's going to kind of die a little bit, so you don't get that advantage. And you're still probably hitting at least 200 into that green, even if you completely smash it.
Yeah. Now, the next one we have here is our... Sorry, go ahead.
Hole number 9. We're going right down. We're just playing the course now. Hole number 9 is number 4 ranked. It's a par 4, 460 yards, downhill drive, uphill approach shot. You kind of reminds me of 18. If you get past those trees there is possibility to get past those trees. So tell me about number 9 here.
Yeah, so I think that's absolutely the key to it. We are downhill on the drive. There's a down slope there. The long drivers, it seems like now, can really just hit it past the tree line. So it opens up so much down there. It can be such a difficult second shot into this green. You're hitting to this uphill green. Typically, you're having to come over those bunkers a little bit, just with the angle you're coming in at. And then anything long or deep, you're playing down the hill. So like you can't be long. You have to then chip down the hill towards the pin, and it can be very difficult to hold. But you can see it is a bit narrow. So all of a sudden, if you are able to get it 325, it really opens up, and you can see how much of an advantage those players have.
Yeah, especially if you can hit it high and get it over those trees. But if you're in those trees, especially the left trees with those bunkers, you need a miracle to get out of there and get on the green, which we have seen before.
Yeah, and I think this is just another perfect example of how much this course does favor those who turn the ball right to left, because it's another one that it sets up easier to the eye if you're either a left-hander who plays a cut or a right-hander who plays the draw.
Well, speaking of right to left, number 3 in the rankings is 13, one of the most famous holes in golf. It is Azalea. It is the par 5, the end of Amen Corner, 510 yards, Craig. This is an interesting one, gets talked about a lot, but tell me about number 13 here.
So number 13, I was actually a little surprised. I mean, obviously distance is a huge weapon here, but to me, this is much more a hole about being able to turn the ball over right to left.
Sure.
Because while we have seen, Bubba Watson take on that crazy line where I think he mishit it essentially, but he
Yeah.
took it over some of these trees to the left. I think we saw Bryson flirt with that line in 2021, but really it's more about hitting it through this corridor off the tee, turning it over right to left, and getting yourself rolling along that bank and trying to get as flat of a lie as far along there as possible.
Yeah, because obviously with the approach shot, this is a par 5. You got to get over the creek. You also want it to stop pretty quickly right away. You don't want to be too long on the green and get yourself into more trouble.
Yeah, and all three of these ones we have here to close out, they all are the easiest holes. These are the lowest scoring holes to par. So that's another reason that Augusta National is one of these courses that does have an advantage for longer hitters, and it's because these par 5s are where you kind of need to make your bank.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a great point. All these par 5s, that's where you have to get your scoring. So speaking of par 5s, ranked number 2 on the list, and number 2 on the course.
And number 2 in our hearts.
Number 2 in our hearts. I don't know about that. Par 5, 575 yards. It's massive downhill kind of par 5 here, but tell me about this one.
Yeah, I mean, story similar. Turning it right to left off the tee really is advantageous. There is this bunker just over, about 300 yards, depending on where the tees play. And you can get over that bunker, you can carry that bunker, and then you can also, if you are turning the ball right to left, you can carry that bunker, and it can actually kick pretty good. That is a downhill approach there. Oh, that's the wrong hole. How about this one? This one will do better. But you can see at about 325, it starts to turn down that hill to the left. You can actually, people who overdraw it, the rough on the left is actually more playable than you think. It doesn't, depending on where the pin is, again, on that Sunday pin, the further left you are, I think the better angle you have, because the pin typically is tucked right over that left bunker on Sunday. But I think this gives you a good idea. You can, if you land it out there 325, you're looking at a second shot that you can really get into the green. And if you're short of that, if you can't carry that bunker, then you're looking just at more trouble and really struggling to get there in 2. Typically, I think in that case, they hit it down to the bottom of the hill. And some of them will get there as close as they can up there. Other ones will kind of try to leave themselves a little bit more to be able to spin something.
And if the rumors are true about the 2021 Masters, that is going to be firm and fast. We're going to see some massive drives here, I think.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay,
the other thing that I think can be interesting is it's the second hole, so it can it's an early momentum changer. It can be an eagle hole, it can be a par. Feels like you're letting strokes go to the field. So I really like that hole coming that early in the round.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, number 1 in the rankings is 15. It's the last par 5 on the list. It's the last par 5 in the course. Par 5, 530 yards. We know this one. I mean, there's famous moments on this hole, of course, but it's that approach shot over the pond. So tell us a little bit about Firethorn, number 15.
Yeah, so to me, I was a little bit surprised when I saw it. So all these numbers, this ranking, this is taken from Data Golf. They did
Right.
essentially an analysis of where driving distance provided the biggest advantage. And I was a little bit surprised to see this one was at the top of the list. But then when I look at it a little bit closer, yeah, it makes a lot of sense. So say you're hitting it 300 yards, just under 300 yards, which is, the average on the PGA Tour.
Yeah.
You're really looking at a tough shot in there. It's about, say you're looking at about 220 yards. It's really just, it doesn't render that well in Google Earth, but you have all of these trees covering
Yes.
half of your fairway up at 350 yard mark. We have seen DJ drive it into those trees, but after that sort of 350, it does start to go downhill. So you can get onto the downslope. It's unrealistic. Really, these guys are trying to play up as close to sort of that narrowing in the fairway as they can. But along that right side of the fairway, if people are precise and long off the tee, it can just make the difference between having a mid iron, say. You can get short irons into the screen, but say a mid iron to really having a long club that you have to hit into that absurd green where it can be so easy to leave it short, and it can be so easy to go long. And we saw them actually. I think they took that rough behind the green down shorter than usual, and we saw some balls running through. They had missed the green deep on their second shot, and they just scooted right through into the back pond.
There's that water on 16 just beyond it that it can roll into there. Also, if you are getting a wedge and sucking it back, I mean, we've seen balls come back into the pond. So it's a very hard green to hold. Absolutely.
And I think really the reason this comes out in the analytics as the hole that distance is most advantageous is because of the difficulty of the second shot. It's not because of the drive, it's because of the second shot.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you very much for watching. This has been a really fun breakdown of the top 6 holes that distance has an advantage at the 2021 Masters at Augusta National. I'm getting goosebumps already. I mean, just flying around this course on Google Earth. It's going to be a great Masters. Craig, anything else to add here before we sign off?
No, just hit a thumbs up if you like this kind of content. It's a little bit different from what we normally do. So let us know if you like it, and we can try to make more of this stuff in the future.
Absolutely. Yeah. See you guys.
Take care.